Hello everyone, it's Ewan here, and 11 months ago, Jesus Christ, it's nearly been a year, I did a video on a gun mouse, the Ragnarok gun mouse, and today I'm going to be doing another one, because I have the newest edition, which I've had sat in my fucking office for ages, and I've not done a video on it, but still, we can do it now. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. And that's the new Ergo Strike 7 model. As you can tell, it is very different from its predecessor. It looks more like an actual pistol this time than an actual pistol grip. The rubber cap that I'm fiddling with there is actually a silencer, because you can actually enable recoil on this controller as well. And another thing I kind of like about this mouse is that it actually sounds like a mouse. As opposed to just like clicking a button, which is just more of an ASMR sort of thing to me, but I'll let you hear that just now. And I'll also let you hear the recoil. You can see both models are very different. One looks more like a sort of pistol grip, the other's a pistol looking one. I believe the only real difference I could really tell from my time playing with this is that the DPI is a lot better on the newest one. That's just my personal opinion, but I also found that this one was a bit more harder to use. I'll get some gameplay up and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So I'm starting off with some aim labs. I do 2 sessions of this, followed by one at the very end where I use my actual mouse just to give something to compare to, and then I'll go over the results at the end. It's not really some in-depth analysis that I'll be portraying here, it's more just sort of an idea just to see how well my aim is with this thing, and it was a little experiment of mine before I moved on to actual games. The games I've picked, I'll be doing Black Ops 6 for one of them, followed by WarThunder, then Battlefield 6, then I'll be finishing off with Darktide, where I'll just give like some general thoughts and feelings on the mouse at the very end. But yeah, for now I'll just continue talking about the sort of aim labs and just how I feel. So the mouse felt a bit more tricky to use this time around. I think maybe just because it's bigger, and I don't know, maybe it was just a bit more slidey, or the DPI wasn't configured correctly, because this mouse feels a bit more fiddly and more sensitive compared to the last one. And I did do this a few times, changing the DPI for it, like throughout all the games I played, and as well, and you'll see this in a second, I felt like doing this sort of challenge hurted my hand a lot quicker this time around than the last one did, and I'm not exactly sure why that was the case, but yeah, so I gave my hand a rest at this point and decided just to do the actual mouse test, where I used my actual mouse just to compare with the others, and I felt like it was a lot smoother. My hand didn't hurt or cramp during this, and it just felt a lot more natural compared to the gun mouse which I was using, and my aim was actually slightly better. Keep in mind, my aim isn't really that great in general, so I was a bit surprised that it was actually as good as it was here. Not perfect, but still, it was pretty good in general. And that's the end of that, so I will portray the results here. As you can see, it's just a sort of gradual climb up of points really, nothing too serious. My mouse is a lot easier to use compared to this, whereas it's only like a slight difference in feeling compared to the actual gun mouse. But yeah, without further ado, let us move on to the actual games. So this time around I've got a few games of Black Ops 6. 2 of them are just normal but on separate maps. One I'm using an assault rifle, the other I'm doing more shotguns, which the gameplay's a bit better there. And then I'm doing snipers only at the very end, as that game mode was available at the time of me recording this. And I'll be honest, it was a lot harder this time around actually getting kills with this thing. The mouse felt really sensitive to use, and it was a lot harder to aim with, and you'll see like throughout the video, if you watch like my hand occasionally, you'll see that I sort of extend my pinky out, and that's sort of to help me aim and keep my sort of grip a bit more steadier whilst using this thing, just because I find it really difficult to fire at targets from afar with this mouse, and that was the biggest challenge, and it was one of the challenges I had with the previous mouse as well, where I struggled to hit long shots. I'm not sure what that was about. Maybe I just needed a bit more practice or to lower my sensitivity whilst using this thing, but that generally was the hardest part about using this mouse. As well, my hand cramped up really quickly playing this this game. It's not as bad compared to Battlefield 6 when I tried it. To be honest, this was actually not so bad compared to the other one. But I don't know, I think maybe just because the size of it, the sensitivity and the amount of concentration I had to put into actually getting kills on this game is what drove it to be like very, very difficult. And the gameplays themselves are really average. Like, I didn't expect myself to do terribly, but I also like thought it would be a bit better. Like, I'm not even sure like what to mainly put this down to, but I think maybe just it's just me getting used to the whole thing. But I have mentioned like previously before, it's like, it's not like the only time I've used this mouse. I have used this on COD before, and the other experiences were a lot better. I did this on stream like ages ago, and I've done 2 sessions on WarThunder where I used this thing, one of them on stream as well, and I don't know, it just feels like for COD, like it's either hit or miss the kind of games that you get in general, but this one like felt especially bad, as you can see like throughout this entire thing. I might just be rambling a fair bit, but it's just sort of how I'm sort of feeling about the whole thing. But in general, the sort of feel, I will say that the feel of this compared to the other one is a lot better compared to just holding like a grip. And because of that, it felt a lot smoother just to move around, and to actually, it felt better to use, and it was a lot more satisfying compared to the other one, seeing as you're actually pulling a trigger. And it was a lot of fun to use in general. Even if I said this sort of last time, even if like the gameplays weren't that great, it was still a lot of fun to use in general. So I'm not really too fussed by the end result. But yeah, and you'll sort of see that theme sort of going around, except for really maybe Battlefield 6, which was the hardest to get my head around, really. So doing more WarThunder this time, and I've also got the recall on for the first part of this sort of game, mainly just for this clip. This is actually suppressed, and I will put like a sort of comparison up just now so you can hear what it's like, suppressed versus unsuppressed. So yeah, this is sort of went how I previously had with the other mouse, where it sort of felt a bit easier to aim with compared to mouse. So I didn't really have much of an issue on this. Like, the games were a bit tough, mainly because I haven't played this game in like a few months, and funnily enough, the last time I actually played this game, the last time was on stream where I was doing this exact thing using the Ragnarok Ergo Strike 7. So yeah, it's not the first time I've done WarThunder with this, and it probably won't be the last. I almost said Warframe there. I don't even know if that would be a good idea, to be honest. Yeah, just a general thought. Overall, I always seem to have a bit of fun whenever I play WarThunder, so this sort of experience wasn't really out of the norm for me. My gameplay was pretty good, my kills were alright, and yeah, just that's really the main thing for it, to be honest. More collisions as well, that literally just made me jump in my chair slightly, which I thought was quite funny. My hand didn't cramp either during this session, which I thought was quite lucky. So yeah, maybe a sort of lower sensitivity would be a bit better compared to when I'm using an actual mouse and keyboard instead of this. Maybe I would have to experiment a bit more with like the actual mouse itself, but really it's not really something I'd put a lot of time into unless it was WarThunder, because I'll be honest, the only other times I can imagine me doing this is playing WarThunder, or unless like I get an idea of doing another sort of challenge where I'm using that. I don't know. It's a bit out in the open just now the next time I use it, but yeah, I guess we will see. Now I'm going to level with you here. The only reason I put this in is because the game recently came out and I thought it'd be very good to include it, seeing as I thought this game is incredibly fun just now. So I decided just to include this in the video. As you can probably tell why the setup looks a bit different compared to the others, and the Darktide footage at the very end. This gameplay was really hard, and this isn't even... I'm mainly just showing highlights because this whole game was absolutely abysmal. It was very hard to aim, hard to keep up with like some of the fast, like sort of paced players that were already getting used to this, and people were already like very skilled at this game, whereas I only really just started out. And keep in mind, this is maybe only a day or two after the game came out, so it's quite astonishing like how much people had improved since then. Maybe it's my playstyle, I don't know. But yeah, this game, using this mouse on this game at this current stage was very difficult. And maybe breakthrough wasn't a good idea. And I also do domination as well, just as something else. And that wasn't really much better. It was very hard to use. Like, I get some good moments here and there, but overall it's not that good. I think overall, like, speaking out loud, sort of thinking about it as I'm watching this back, I feel like if I was going to get good gameplay on this, I would have to practice a lot more with this mouse. The other one, I'm not sure why I was a lot better compared to this when I first tried it. I mean, this is the first time I'm playing Battlefield with this mouse, so not even sure why it's a lot different compared to the other mouse. But I think maybe just practice if this is something you're really going to be using long term. Whereas for me, I don't really see myself using this mouse a lot, besides some challenges here and there, like I said previously. It's still a fun mouse to use, fun and satisfying to use. It's a very cool looking mouse, a cool feeling mouse, but very difficult to use for certain games. The hardest I would still say is probably Space Marine, probably because that game is not a first person, it is a third person, and followed by this. This would be the second hardest, I would say, just in general. Like, this game was very hard to play, but yeah, we'll move on. So what can I say about this mouse? I like it a lot. I like the way it feels in my hand. I like the way it sort of feels like satisfying to use, because it actually feels like a gun whenever you get a kill. The recoil is a nice touch to it, and if you combine that with like sort of some kills that you get with, it might actually lead to the same sort of satisfaction that I had in general. That being said though, I will say that this mouse was a lot harder to use, and it didn't really help my sort of aim compared to longer targets compared to like close quarters. So I don't know, maybe it just needs more practice, like maybe off stream or off video whenever I have time or ever I want to do something like this again. But at the moment though, I would still say that the other one felt a bit better in my hand compared to the other one, seeing as my hand cramped a little bit more compared to the other one with this one. To be fair, my hands are quite prone to cramping, like when they're holding something a bit unusual, like sometimes a bit tightly or just unnaturally like this. And seeing as like my hand position is a bit weird sometimes, as you can see right now, my pinky is out trying to like steady it when I'm aiming and stuff like that. So yeah, I probably don't help it much either. I just want to say this is my own like thoughts and opinions. There isn't anyone sponsoring me to do this. This is my own just sort of general sort of thoughts behind this thing, and yeah, I will say, like, if you like this sort of thing, if you want to like get this mouse, just experiment with it. I believe both mice that I've reviewed, well, not really reviewed, but sort of taken a look at before, are still available for purchase if you'd like to try one of them out for yourself. I will link both of them in the description. Keep in mind this is really only for first person, so other games might be a bit more challenging, but if you'd like a little bit of a challenge or just want to push the boat out a bit more for what you can do with it, just keep in mind I tried Space Marine with this, which is a third person game mainly for melee combat, and it was really hard, so just bear in mind for that. I also like to say I apologise if most of this came off as a bit rambly. I don't normally do stuff like this, and chatting so far is quite hard for me. I don't have a script for this because I kept on like losing the flow whenever I tried writing one, so I just thought go ahead and talk and just give my whole general feelings on the matter and just show off the gameplay as well and let that play in the background whilst it was going. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed in general. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.